Revelation 1861. From the 24th of March 1941. Light hunger. Requesting or abusing the power. The hunger for light of the unredeemed being determines the duration of its bondage. As soon as the being feels the light as a benefit and longs for it, it goes towards its final liberation. For now it strives towards God, thus it gives up its rebelliousness and has escaped the enemy's power forever. And this state must have occurred before the being itself can become a recipient of light and strength, because then it will no longer misuse the light and strength it receives from God but will likewise use it to redeem the bound being. Everything that is bound needs help, it cannot become free of its own strength, and the beings in full possession of the strength have to give it to it. But they can only do this when they themselves are in the light and have experienced the state of liberation as redemption, for only then are they constantly active to redeem what is still bound. And now the unredeemed being's desire for light and liberation is again decisive as to the abundance of light it can receive, for it must not be supplied to it arbitrarily and indiscriminately, lest it be used to increase the power of evil. For the unredeemed spiritual being, whose will is too weak, will still be too influenced by the evil power and therefore turn the received strength towards God's adversary, providing it complies with his will. But if the being desires light, then it longs for God and uses the strength it now receives in a way pleasing to God, and then the moment of becoming free is not far away. The desire for light will therefore always be connected with the will to come close to God, for the being also unconsciously feels that God and light cannot be separated from each other. It will never be in bondage to God's adversary if it strives towards the light. And therefore it can now also be given unlimited light and strength, for it will no longer misuse this but only use it for its own ascent. Thus, if the being receives light and strength in the form of the divine word, it is already in a state that it has become a bearer of light and strength, thus it can pass on again what is imparted to it to beings in need of light and strength. And now again the desire of those for light is decisive whether they make use of it or not. The weak-willed or stubborn human being, for example, will never be able to receive strength through the transmitted divine word unless he desires it and allows it to have an effect on him. If he does not desire it, then it remains ineffective and cannot be misused to increase evil power. The greater the desire for it, the more perceptible the effect. For to stand in the light is such an incomprehensible, blissful state that it must be longed for with full consciousness. Amen.